Yeah, get Megyn Kelly off the mic.
And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls.
Did you bump your head?
Derapy. Megyn Kelly is a conservative commentator with her own show on YouTube and Sirius XM. I just played you a clip that, to be fair, was a little out of context. But today we're going to listen to that full clip, add all the context that we can, and try and figure out what this woman is talking about and how she thinks she's benefiting society with the words leaving her face.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls.
Now, right off rip, it would be nice for Megyn to correct herself. There is time. 15-year-olds are not legal. Not even really close in America. So either your source is dumb or you're being dumb by not correcting the thing that you've been hearing for years. But let's let her keep talking, see if she starts making sense.
15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts.
Okay, she acknowledges that it's disgusting, but also she's saying that she's giving facts.
That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby.
What is the purpose of this?
And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn, now they call it child sexual abuse material, on his computer, that for the first time I thought, oh, no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos.
Oh, she lost it again. Are we really going to act like 15 isn't a young child? I'm only saying this because she said it. 15. I know you think it's disgusting to talk about, but it's incredibly irresponsible and frankly gross to say you didn't believe Epstein was actually a pedo until you heard about the collection of media from Pam Bondi. You literally said that it was facts from somebody that virtually knew everything, that he was handling girls that were 15.
15-year-old girls.
Like, you said that, and I have it on good authority that you're going to say it again. But in the meantime, let's continue listening.
She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10, I was under 14.
What is the benefit of making this distinction? I don't understand.
When I first came within his purview. Look, you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference. Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. Yeah. You know, it's just whatever.
Now, the clip I got was from Twitter, so it cuts off right there. But you did hear her reiterate there's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I'm genuinely wondering why we're even trying to make the distinction. Now, that clip ends with her saying whatever, but maybe that's just the Twitter clip. Maybe they're clipping her out of context purposely. Now, I'm doing my due diligence, and I went through the 33 minutes into the hour and 40-minute show of hers to find out where exactly this came from and what comes right after it. Because that clip on its own is weird and bad. She's just like, there's a difference between 5 and 15. I feel like we need to remember that, but whatever. She also explicitly states that, like, even though she said 15, she didn't originally think that he was an actual diddler because, you know, they were like barely legal, which is just not what those words mean. But here's the follow-up.
Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. Yeah. You know, it's just whatever. It's sick. Every time we start talking about Epstein, it makes your skin crawl. You right? The whole thing is just disgusting.
Totally.
Anyway, well, what do you think? Does this stay in the news around Trump? Because I'll give you a couple of reactions here.
That didn't make it much better.
So she ends the segment by saying the whole situation makes your skin crawl, takes a 2 to 3 second pause, and then is like, so does this stick to Trump?
What?
The single most concerning thing about this is this is somebody else saying this for the record. I have it on good authority. They were much more closer to like 15 than like 8. I'm just giving you the facts. Who ass. I'm just tripping off the fact that she said 15 like multiple times and never once thinks to say, hey, yo, for the record, getting active with a 15-year-old also makes you a pedophile. And then she pivots right into, is this gonna stick to Trump? Brother, huh?
Mom, excuse me.
I'm just trying to find a way to be charitable, and I got nothing. I even went and listened to a few minutes before the clip that we've been listening to, and the co-host doesn't prompt her to start talking about specific ages. Megyn was talking about other people connected who she didn't want to name because she didn't want to get sued, and how these people also still need to be brought to justice, and then just goes straight into, hey, by the way, we're talking about young high schoolers, not like elementary or anything. I just think it's a weird thing to do. But here's my theory. There's like a little subtle goalpost shifting, and that's the only explanation I can think of, because there's no other reason to bring this up entirely unprovoked. In all my time reading or learning about this stuff or watching reports or updates, I never thought to myself like, okay, just how young are we talking though? Because it doesn't matter. Now, I'm not going to come on here and say that Megyn Kelly condones crime. I don't think she's literally saying, like, if they're 15, it's fair game. I just think that she's planting the seed of, it could be worse. And my response to that is, well, you're kind of the worst. Jeff is already rotting somewhere, so this can't be about making him look better. Maybe it's about the people associated with him. Those that have talked about, an interest in young girls. But I digress. Here's the thing. Some people just need an editor. Meg, I don't know what to tell you.
I would know what to tell you.
Or maybe to not have a show at all. I don't know. You won't get the full feeling of this without, the actual visual element to it. But I do have to say my favorite part about that clip is just the incredibly loud silence that comes right after Meg's ramble on the exact age of the child victims. Editor Derek, cut the music for this. I feel like they both knew, yeah, this segment could have gone better. Just listen to this silence.
There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. It's just whatever. It's sick. Because every time we start talking about Epstein, it makes your skin crawl, right? The whole thing is just disgusting.
Totally.
Anyway, well,
I back it up. Yeah, much more of that almost 2-hour show of theirs is them talking about how Trump is being targeted and it's just a blue team play and yada, yada, yada. It's honestly looking like a tough week for Red Team. Literally, as I'm wrapping that segment up, I looked on Twitter and saw there's a piece that just dropped, New York Times, talking about Matt Gaetz, who was a congressman, and he had some thing with a 17-year-old chick that worked at McDonald's, was in and out of a shelter. It's all bad looks. Let's end with something totally unrelated and silly because we're just back to back with nasty work on these joints. No drizzy. Let's transition. Story from about a week ago. Jury acquits DC sandwich guy charged with chucking a sub at a federal agent. Yo, shout out Ryan J. Riley of NBC News. Jurors showed no appetite for the Justice Department's case against sandwich guy, the DC resident who chucked a Subway sandwich at the chest of a federal officer, finding him not guilty Thursday after several hours of deliberations. The funniest thing about this case is that there's literally a video of this guy just like beaming a what looks like a foot-long sub directly into the chest of this federal agent. Like, it's on video, and they're just letting him go. The jury, which feasted on sandwiches for lunch Thursday, according to a person familiar with jury lunches, deliberated the charges for several hours Wednesday and Thursday before delivering the verdict. The resident, Sean Dunn, a former Justice Department paralegal, faced a single misdemeanor count after a federal grand jury rejected more serious charges over the encounter, which took place in the nightlife area of U Street in August. Now get this, Officer Lairmore had testified that the sandwich quote-unquote exploded all over his chest and claimed he could smell mustard and onions. Oh, boo-hoo. Despite him saying that the sandwich exploded upon impact, it turns out that you can actually see in the video that the sandwich was still in its wrapper on the ground after it hit him in his bulletproof vest. Prosecutor Janine Pirro said, "As always, we accept the jury's verdict. That is the system within which we function. However, law enforcement should never be subjected to assault, no matter how minor. Even children know when they are angry, they are not allowed to throw objects at one another," Pirro said in a written statement. In closing arguments, defense attorney Sabrina Schroff argued that a sandwich could not and did not cause harm. This case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is about a sandwich. I love the fact that in this country, a jury of our peers can see a video of an officer getting decked in the chest with a sub sandwich and collectively decide, okay, no harm, no foul. That is justice. That's the America I'm proud to be a part of. For the record, we here at Derapy, myself and my editor, we do not condone the chucking of any sandwich, wrapped or not, cold or toasted, footlong or otherwise, at law enforcement. To be fair, though, the Big Orange had people on patrol in the streets of DC. Not everybody found that necessary, and this was the people's way of simply making their voice heard. It's also worth noting that the dude who got meat tossed at him was cracking jokes about it, wasn't injured at all, and was wearing a patch afterward that said felony footlong, which you should definitely comment if you made it this far in the episode.
A felonious footlong of flavor.
Shout out to Jury for their duty, shout out Sean Dunn for a great throw, and shout out to you for being here. Aww. Megyn Kelly, get it together, quit being weird. Matt Gates, you should be jailed. We'll spin the block on you some other day. Thank you, my derps, for tapping in. Be sure to
like the video.
Love you, mean it, spread the bread, enjoy the outro.
By Snake Stelio.